What are we talking about today?
Today, we're talking about the Upwork Readiness Test and answers and how to ace the quiz. Okay, Elena, so this is kind of one of those things that originally, when I was writing this article for my blog, oh, by the way, welcome into the Morgan Overholt mix. I always forget other YouTubers are like, here's a 10-minute long introduction. I'm like, did we do the introduction? Let's just skip that.
Let's just get started.
Anyway, but I'm Morgan Overholt. She's the mix.
I'm the mix. I'm Elena O'Neill. I'm Morgan's right-hand woman behind the scenes.
And I am kind of Upwork famous for having made $500,000 in the platform. I learned this week that I'm less than $10,000 away from hitting the $600,000 mark. So that will change very, very soon. Possibly.
Ooh, congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. Next couple of videos. Elena and I also, we work for Morgan Media LLC. Well, I own Morgan Media LLC. Elena works for it. And then together we are partners on a variety of blogs. So we do all sorts of stuff. We're tried and true freelancers. We understand the world and we definitely understand Upwork. And hopefully this will kind of give you some insight. All right. So today we're going to be talking about the Upwork Readiness Test because this is one of those things that, I always get my blog ideas from like looking at trending topics online. I use a tool called SEMrush. I can even put that as an affiliate link in the description of this video if y'all would like. Is a really great, cool SEO tool. And so I'm always like doing this topic research about what to write about for my blog and what you guys are Googling when it comes to Upwork. And one of the really hot topics is about how to ace the Upwork Readiness Test. Now, I'm no fool, Elena. I know the reason people are Googling this because the Upwork Readiness Test is a requirement of joining Upwork. But a lot of y'all, instead of actually wanting to study the terms of service, like, good Upwork citizens, you just want to cheat and Google the answers. That's the real reason that everybody's looking this information up, right? So today, yes, we're going to talk about how to answer the questions, but also we're going to talk about why it's really important because I got a little soapboxing to do. All right.
We get let's keep this soapboxing brief because we got to get to the questions too. What's your soapbox?
All right. So the soapbox is that I feel like everybody just Googles the answer to these questions without ever taking the moment to think about them, to understand them, or like consider why they're important. And then within weeks, it never fails. Those same people are like, I got banned from the Upwork platform and I don't know why.
I would venture to guess that they broke one of the terms of service that they were supposed to study for. Is that also your guess?
What? So guys, here's the thing. So the Upwork, and then the other thing I always hear is like, oh, well, what am I supposed to do in this case with this client? Or I didn't know this, or I didn't know that. Well, look, y'all, this is why the Upwork Readiness Test exists. And honestly, as somebody who's been on the platform now for like 5 or 6 years, I joined in 2017 math, about 5 or 6 years going on 6. I'm telling you, these questions that they have picked out for this test are crucially important to your success on the platform and how to handle projects and how to handle clients. So take a moment, like we probably happened upon this video because you're trying to cheat, but take a moment to consider why these things are important. And as we kind of go through them, we're going to go through them pretty quickly because like I said, we need to keep this video fairly brief. We try to aim for 30 minutes. We always land around 40, but we're going to try again today. Persistence. Gotta have goals in life. But we are going to talk briefly about why they're so important and how they've applied to me, some more than others, but how they've applied to me in my journey to earning, $500,000 plus on the platform without getting banned, y'all. It's amazing. Funny how that works, right? Okay. One quick disclaimer before we jump in. These questions were taken from the website early in January of 2022. The questions may change. Also, the questions are always in randomized order. Okay. So we're just going to go in the order that we have, but your order may vary on the actual site. One of the first questions, or at least again, randomized order, but we're going to call it question number 1 for us. Okay. Question. Many jobs on Upwork are posted privately as invite-only jobs. These jobs don't require connects. A strong profile can help you receive more invitations and win more work. Which items help you create a 100% complete profile? Please check all that apply. And the answers here, guys, are a professional looking profile picture of yourself, a title, overview, and employment history, a list of top skills, and a portfolio of work. Real quick, these are all real stinking important, because if you have all of these items filled out in your profile, it's going to be that much easier to win jobs. We actually filmed a whole video last week about how to set up your profile to win jobs and have and give your proposals the best chance, a fighting chance, if you will. And I'm telling you all these things that are listed: the professional photo, a great title, overview, employment history, listing multiple skills, a strong portfolio of work, not just one or two examples, multiple examples. I still see people commit that all the time. Those are all things that are really going to set you up for success. Okay. So like go above and beyond there. Even once you get to the 100% profile mark, still go above and beyond, add extra skills, extra portfolio work, extra keywords. It all helps.
Okay. Question number 2 may not actually be question number 2, but we'll call it that. Working safely on Upwork should be your number one priority. This includes never starting to work on a job unless you already have a contract in place with your client. So it'll ask you which of the following statements about starting work on a job is true. And the answer is start the work only once the client has sent you an offer, you have accepted the offer, and your contract appears in the My Jobs All Contracts tab.
Elena, do you know why this is so very important? This is actually a crucial one.
Because I would say that people want to try to get free work. I know that some people will say, oh, just send me a sample or start with part of the project. Just do this part first and then I'll pay you later. And then what this does is it does protect the freelancer from doing any free work, and it prevents the client from kind of baiting you and saying, we'll just start with this part and then we'll finish later. But then you don't really ever get any money. So this will protect, I think, mostly the freelancer. I imagine it protects the client in some way as well. What's your answer, Morgan?
Yeah, 100% everything that you said. And again, a really common complaint that I hear about the platform, about the client stiffing them or the client running. And here's the thing: if you have done work outside of the contract, Upwork really can't help you. They really can't protect you there. So you really need to make sure that you've got that contract on file. You've accepted the offer. It works just like a real life contract. So it takes all those messages and all the communications that you've had on the Upwork Messenger and kind of treats it like a contract. And after the offer is accepted and after you've been doing the work, if there's a problem, then Upwork can get involved.
Right.
It's really about protecting yourself. And that scam is so real. Like, I have been the victim of that scam on Upwork, where clients are like, oh yeah, just do a paid test, and then we'll decide or whatever, and it's like, you just end up like risking, your money, you end up risking your time. So I've really stood firm. And then the last thing I'll also say on that is be sure to that if you feel like you need help standing your ground on that, you can actually list this and just say, hey, look, it's against the Upwork Terms of Service to do work outside of the contract, and kind of like feel like, oh, I would, but I mean, I can't because, terms of service. And I find that line really helps. That's typically what I do whenever clients ask me for free work or work outside the platform. Like, oh, I'd love to, but it's a breach of the terms of service.
You said you've been a victim. Have you actually started free work without a contract, or you mean you've just been solicited to do so and said no?
Oh, well, I've been solicited to do so and said no. And I will say though, I have been a victim more specifically because I don't do work outside of the contract, but I have been specifically a victim of like all this scope creep, or like a client who will slightly unrelated set up like a one milestone, and they'll say, oh, well, this milestone's for $10 and this is for like just like a sample of the work. And then I'll pay you like $100 in the second milestone. And I do like the sample and then I only get the $10 and they cut and run. So it's like stuff like that. I think we can probably do another video one day on like how to protect yourself against those kinds of instances, because I have had a lot of problems with like scope creep and milestones and clients kind of running halfway through the project. So probably a video from a different day, but a very similar scam. Question number 3 is about improving your job success score. Another hot button topic. Everyone's always asking. They act like it's rocket science. Here's how you do it. Question: your job success score measures your client satisfaction with your work on Upwork, reflecting relationships, feedback, and job outcomes. Which of the following statements about your job success score on Upwork are true? Please check all that apply. And the answers are 3 apply, obviously. Your job success score measures your client satisfaction with your overall work history on Upwork. Longer term relationships are a plus and can help you boost your score. And jobs with higher earnings weigh more and will have a bigger impact on your score. All right. So those are the three factors. Obviously, there's a lot of behind the scenes stuff that we'll never know about, that wizard behind the curtain, on the specific algorithms and how they specifically work. But in general, if you want to boost your job success score, which is crucial to earning that top rated status and staying at that top rated status and looking really appealing to your potential clients, again, make sure that your clients are satisfied in both their private and public feedback. A lot of times the client will be like, yeah, 5 stars, in public, behind the scenes, 1 star, hated this person. To make sure they're genuinely happy. Make sure that you are focusing on long-term relationships in the platform. Long-term contracts are great. And then of course, try to go with jobs for higher earnings. That kind of goes into the longer term contract thing a little bit, because those are naturally going to be higher earners. But, after you've done your first couple of jobs on the platform, raise those rates, go after those bigger fish. Those are all really impactful things. A quick example, I've recently closed a job that was over $150,000. It does not have to be that high, but safe to say that locks in my job success score for a while. 5-star review.
Let's hope that's 5 stars. I told them if it's not 5 stars, then that's on them for continuing to work that long.
I know. So true. All right. You want to take question number 4?
All right. Question number 4 is about Upwork's Terms of Service, which helps users stay safe and maintain a trustworthy marketplace. Which of the following statements about Upwork's Terms of Service are true? Check all that apply. Once again, we have 3 correct answers here. 1, you commit to keeping client relationships on Upwork for at least 24 months unless you or your client pays a conversion fee to take the relationship off the marketplace. 2, soliciting or accepting payment from an Upwork client off the platform is a violation of Upwork's Terms of Service. And 3, you can only have one Upwork account. This one account gives you access to any account type you may need, including freelancer, client, or agency.
100% on all of these, by the way, guys. I've also had to wait the 2 years to take my clients off the platform. Sometimes I don't even take my clients on the platform. To me, it just depends on the client's personality. Sometimes I take a client off the platform after 2 years and it's fine. They're really good about paying and stuff. But other times they're like, oh, well, I forgot to pay, versus they were used to Upwork just auto billing them. So sometimes I've even taken clients back to Upwork, especially the ones that forget to pay. Cause I'm like, we're going back to auto bill.
Yeah.
But yes, that's a really important one, but don't bite the hand that feeds. Upwork needs to be paid too. Again, not to go off on a tangent, but Upwork's fees get a lot of bad, coverage and a lot of bad, flack online. But here's the thing. You got to compare them to a standard recruitment agency, which charges 30%. And most of the time you don't even know they're getting that 30%. They just tell you this is your rate, and they tell the client that's your rate. And they tell you and the client not to talk to each other, but it is a standard average industry 30%. So Upwork only charges 20% on the first 500, which is already lower than the industry standard. After $500, it goes down to 10%. After $10,000, it goes down to 5%. I do believe that might vary on enterprise cases, which might stay at 10, but those are always kind of changing with the enterprise clients. So definitely check the current information on upwork.com on that. But yeah, anyway, long story short, don't bite the hand that feeds. Upwork's fees are completely fair, in my humble opinion, my unpopular humble opinion. I know. All right. Don't beat me up in the comments. I realize. But my unpopular opinion, I think they're fair. Don't bite the hand that feeds them. They got to stay in business somehow. And the only having one Upwork account. Yeah. So for those of you who don't understand how this works. So for me, for instance, I actually have one Upwork account, but it has both a freelancer and a client profile. So all you do when you log in is you just go in and basically add a client profile. If you're a freelancer, or if you're a client, add a freelancer profile. And then you kind of toggle between the profiles, while you're logged in as the one, if that makes sense. It's almost kind of like Facebook business pages, sort of, how you're your personal you. And then if you run a business, you can switch to the business profile and then interact as a business. It's kind of like that. And that's kind of how it lives on Upwork behind the scenes. Question number 5, writing effective proposals. Okay. Again, gosh, a question that we're constantly asked, right? But Upwork is right here telling y'all how to write an effective proposal. Here it is. Question: your proposal is often your first interaction with a potential client. It's your opportunity to introduce yourself, highlight your expertise, and show the client why you're the best professional for the job. What are the best practices for submitting a winning proposal through Upwork? Please check all that apply. And there are 4 correct answers here that you're going to be checking. Write a personal and professional greeting. Describe your relevant experience in key areas listed in the job post. Demonstrate you've read it. Outline how you would approach and complete the job, and respond to any questions listed in the job post. All right. I think this was pretty straightforward, Elena, don't you think?
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, it's a topic that we've covered before. So be sure to poke around if you haven't watched that yet. But yeah, I mean, we've done a whole video on this, but it's just making sure that you've read the job. You show the client that you've read the job, and ways to stand out and try to get your client to trust you.
Yeah. And it's so easy. Like we said in the other longer video, which I do hope you guys check out, like Elena said, a lot of people don't actually respond to like details in the profile. So even just making sure that you're answering all the questions and you're like acknowledging details in the job posting, like it'll put you over the top, heads and tails above everybody else. Is incredible.
Yeah.
All
You'd
right.
be surprised.
Yeah, you'd be real surprised. Again, I've worked as both freelancer and client in the platform. I've seen it all.
We'll call this question number 6, your response time. So question: your overall response time is displayed on your Upwork profile. Which of the following describes your responsiveness score? And there are 2 answers on this one. 1, your responsiveness score is based on how quickly you respond to, as in accept or decline clients' invitations to jobs. And 2, your responsiveness score appears on your profile for clients to see. Yeah, pretty straightforward. I actually don't remember this looking at this on my own profile. Has this been a thing for a while, or did I just forget about it?
Yeah, it's been a thing for a good long while.
Okay, I guess I just forgot about it. Just don't mind me.
Have you not been responding to your clients?
No, I do respond. I mean, like I said, I have so much work right now. I'm not looking for new work. So some of the stuff I haven't thought about in a long time.
Got it. Number 7, Upwork's payment protection on fixed rate contracts. This one's important, guys. All right. So a fixed price job has a set price and payments that are made at a predetermined project milestones. How does Upwork's payment protection for fixed price jobs work? Using escrow. Answer: the client deposits or pre-funds a milestone payment into escrow before you begin working. Upon receiving and approving the work, the client releases the payment to you. So again, this kind of talks about like that, protection essentially. And I actually have gotten burned on this one, Elena, personally, because I didn't realize that they hadn't funded the milestone, and then I got screwed. It wasn't fun. So it's not enough just to like set up the milestone. You also have to make sure that client has like fully funded it and it's ready to go before you ever begin work. Because what Upwork is going to do is they're going to basically hold on to that money. The client basically sets up the milestone and they send Upwork, like, let's just say it's $100 or something, and Upwork holds onto the $100. All right. So let's pretend Elena's Upwork. Okay. And let's say that I'm the freelancer and I got this client over here. All right. So the client's like, I'm going to hire Morgan, but I don't know Morgan from Adam. I just met her on Upwork. So here, Upwork, I'm going to hand you $100. And what are you going to do, Upwork?
Oh boy, I have $100. I'm going to keep this safe for you until the client releases the funds because they're happy.
Yeah. Oh, that sounds like a really good plan, Upwork. Thank you so much. See a little role play there.
I'm so good at role playing.
Oscars, call me.
Question number 8 is about Upwork's payment protection on hourly projects. Question: when working on an hourly job, you invoice your client for time worked on the project. What do you need to qualify for Upwork's payment protection on hourly jobs? Please check all that apply. Once again, you have 4 answers here. 1, you must have an hourly contract. 2, you must have a client with a verified billing method. 3, you must log your hours with the Upwork desktop app. And 4, you must write out activities performed in the work diary with memos or activity labels.
Yeah. And again, this one protects you guys. Like I'm asked about this all the time. Honestly, on Upwork, I'm like 90% hourlies anyway. And especially with brand new clients who I've never worked with before, and I don't necessarily know whether or not I can trust them, I always use the desktop time tracker. And I know that everyone, I always hear a lot of like, I don't know. I always heard a lot of objections, Elena, about the Upwork desktop time tracker. So I'm really curious to hear your opinion of this actually, because I always hear, oh, it's distracting. Oh, it interferes me. Oh, it's nosy. I don't want the client seeing every little click that I make, or I don't want them to see like my secret sauce or whatever. Like they think it's too invasive, basically, the desktop time tracker. But to me,
Mm.
especially with brand new clients, to me, it's like, it's a must. I just feel so much more protected because a client really can't refute the work or question or they can question, but they're going to lose. They can't, get their money back if you've obviously been doing what you've asked to do, what you've been assigned to do. And there is plenty of documentation to back that up. So Elena, have you ever
Mhm.
felt weird about using the desktop app, and do you use it frequently when you are logged in on Upwork?
Well, yes. I mean, yes to everything you just said. I do empathize with people. I will say it does take a little bit of time to get used to it sometimes. It can be slightly distracting. I will say I also use a different time tracker even when I'm not working through Upwork, which it doesn't take screenshots necessarily, but it will kind of pop up every now and then and say, hey, you've been working on this for an hour. Do you want a break? And so it's, but you kind of get used to logging your time after a while when you're working on hourly based projects, whether it's with Upwork or otherwise. Upwork can be distracting because it's taking those screenshots periodically. And that can feel a little bit weird if, because part of the design process is trying a few things and moving things around, and you don't necessarily want the client, you don't want the client to think, well, I don't like it yet. And you're thinking, well, I'm still working on it. I can see how people kind of get a little bit on edge about that aspect of it, but I think the value that it provides is worth it because it gives you such a great level of protection. There's really no refuting from the client side of, hey, this shouldn't have taken this long, or hey, they can set a limit to how much they want to pay per week, and then but there's just protection all around. I think the protection that it provides is worth any level of distraction that it may cause.
Yeah, and out of the box, it's not like it's taking pictures of you on your camera. Like that would be super creepy, right?
Oh, no, no, no.
I'm like snacking or blowing my nose, and like I don't know,
No. Now
literally
that
that would
that
be
I would
creepy.
not like. It only takes a screenshot for clarity's sake.
Screenshot of your computer. Okay. So it's whatever you've got going on up there. And trust me, and hey, look, I also always get it. Sometimes you've got like messenger apps that are connected to your computer, or maybe like something embarrassing might pop up at a pop-up that you don't necessarily like, having a sale on, some embarrassing item like you've been shopping
Yeah.
for. Like, I don't know.
Having a bra sale, or
Yeah, like
you know
Victoria's Secret's
but,
having a sale. So,
so
if there is
you can delete some of those if you really don't want that to show to the client.
and it gives you like a certain amount of time. So if it takes the screenshot, it gives you like a few seconds and a little timer will pop up and beside a little trash can icon. And you can hit the trash can icon to delete that screenshot if it's just too personal or too embarrassing, or does something happen or you don't want the client to see it. But do remember, here's a disclaimer. It will take that little 10 minutes out of your billing. Okay. So you do have to pay for that little screenshot that you've deleted. So definitely use that sparingly. I have definitely hit that before. Like the husband texts over something very interesting at a very inopportune time, and it's Upwork goes click. I'm like, So we've all
Yeah.
been there. You've got the option to delete it. Just remember, it will take that little 10-minute block out of your time if you do. So use it sparingly.
And also make sure that it works. I actually got dinged on Upwork for this because I didn't realize it was doing it at first, and then it dinged me a little bit. It worked out okay, but I basically something did an update and it wasn't actually able to capture the screen. It was taking a screenshot, but it wasn't. It was like a blank screen essentially, and I don't think I realized it for some time. Luckily, the client still paid and everything went through just fine. They didn't really question it. However, Upwork picked up on it and said, hey, you need to fix this, and if you do it again, we're gonna potentially take you off the platform. So I fixed it real quick. But they, make sure that it actually is taking an accurate screenshot and not just a blank screen. I think you have to allow it to have access to your
Oh.
computer screen kind of thing. So make sure you watch out for that too.
Okay, good. Yeah, thank you for that. Because I remember I recently worked with an Upworker who was having that exact same problem, and we were
Mhm.
trying to fix it because it was only taking a picture of her blank screen instead of what
Yeah.
she's actually working on. So you can go in and check on whether or not that's working, right? I mean, you're gonna be able to kind of tell while you're logged in, but you
You'll,
can also
yeah, you'll see it as it goes. It's something that I should have noticed. And I was kind of being a little bit lazy, to be honest. I think I did notice it doing it after I started doing it. It was a client that I'd worked with for a while, so I wasn't really too concerned. But then Upwork became concerned, so I was like, "Oh, I should fix this."
Got it. Question number 9: How to become top rated on Upwork? Again, another thing people are always asking. It's so funny how people are always acting so perplexed over these topics when these are literally the very topics Upwork is asking you to know and understand and study, and that you have sworn basically through the Upwork Readiness Test that you know and understand and have studied, and yet people will still turn around and say, how do I become top rated on the platform? So this is how. Okay. Question: Upwork's top rated program recognizes freelancers that have a proven history of success with multiple clients, contribute to a safe marketplace, and follow Upwork's terms of service. Which are the requirements to achieve top rated freelancer status on Upwork? Please check all that apply. Answers: job success score of 90% and above, $1,000 earnings in the past year, at least. I was almost say 1,000, 100% complete profile, up-to-date availability status, and no recent account holds. Again, pretty self-explanatory here. And those, look, some of these are harder to achieve than others for sure. The job success score, it takes time. The earnings, especially when you first start out, take time. I think I didn't hit my first 1,000 till like week 4 or 5 in the platform. And I was like really hitting hard, but like some of these are really easy in my opinion, like making sure your profile is complete. You can do that on day 1, peeps, making sure that your availability status is kept up to date. Again, something that's really easy right out of the box, and just avoid account holds by not doing anything squirrely. Okay.
Is this the last question?
Yep.
All right, great.
We get through in time. Yay!
Oh my gosh, I can't believe it. Last question: accepting offsite payments. This is a big one. Question: Upwork offers a number of choices for withdrawing your funds, including direct to local bank, ACH, USD wire transfer, instant pay, or US freelancers, PayPal, or Payoneer. To prevent falling victim to payment scams, which tips should you follow to protect yourself from suspicious activities? Answer: contact Upwork's customer support when a client offers to pay you directly via PayPal, Western Union, or another method outside of the Upwork payment system.
What's really crazy is I also run a Patreon. Nothing special. It's just like, right now I think it's like $5-10 a month, and all you get, and all it really gets you are like access to some of my more private, advice, my real life templates. But it also gets you access to have a one-on-one chat with me at any time. So like not by Zoom, but just by Messenger, email, or whatever. And I rarely even reply on the weekends, Elena, but over the weekend, I had somebody brand new patron on my Patreon email over, and they go, "Hey Morgan, I just joined Upwork, and one of my very first clients, the guy wants me to do a test off of the platform, and I did the test. Okay, so he's already broken one rule. Like I didn't realize it, right? I did the test and I passed. I'm like, oh great, good job for working for free. And now the client wants money." Like what? The client wants money. Interesting.
What?
Now they want me to like PayPal them money or whatever. I mean, guys, this stuff are like, these are really, really common scams. And it is not at all unusual too for the scam to not even be so blatant as that, for the client to just be like, oh, I just need you to like send me money because I need to hold the funds while we do the project, and then I'll like give you more or whatever. I've seen all sorts of crazy stuff where like the client will even say and I should use the word client here loosely because more of a con artist, where the con artist posing as the client will say something like, oh yeah, I'll send you money or you send me money. And then they're like, oh wait, that was too much money. Now you need to send me a refund or something like that. I mean, these were all like really super classic scams. And so that, again, to use the role play example we used earlier, if Elena was Upwork, Elena is the kind of person you would want holding onto your money. You would want Elena to kind of play that like interim or that intermediary role to make sure that everybody stays safe, to make sure that everybody's under contract, that there's no funny business whatsoever. And honestly, as even a very experienced freelancer myself would tell you, I think it's one of the scariest things about freelancing in general, when you're going out there in the real world and you're having to do this work and hope that the client pays and hope that you don't get hurt. And I think that Upwork, that is one of the biggest benefits that they provide freelancers out there today, period. The fact that they provide you that layer of protection and that layer of like somebody that's there to help you in case there is something that's going on. So please just make sure that if anybody's asking you to exchange money outside of the platform, by using any of those, any of those systems, there's no excuse for it. Upwork offers a number of choices for what, like the question says, for withdrawing your funds. You can use PayPal, you can use ACH or wire transfers or all this other stuff. So there's really no excuse for your client to be asking to go directly and use any of that. Plus, you really don't want to exchange that personal information, in my opinion. So just be aware and report that when it does happen. And again, not everything's a scam. Sometimes it's just people trying to get out of Upwork fees, which also isn't great. Again, Upwork's got to make their money somewhere, people. So protect yourself from scams. Let's keep Upwork in business. Make sure that they're still making money too, because if they're in business, we're in business. Don't bite the hand that feeds. Super easy stuff. So any comments on that, Elena?
Yeah, I was just going to say, I think if there's a theme of this video, it is don't bite the hand that feeds. And if you're taking this test and you're kind of watching this video because you just want to plug in the answers, do take like a couple of minutes just to actually review the answers and know them and study them and make sure you're following those things so that you're not one of those people on the other side wondering why you got banned or why you got scammed or fill in the blank.
Wondering why you can't get jobs, how you can improve your job success score. Like, it's right here.
Yeah. There's a reason that this is required. No, I'll admit it's been a while since I've done these things, but there's just basic rules that you follow that to do. Just make sure you're actually studying it when you take the test and follow it as well.
Committing it to memory. All right. Right up here is where you want it. All right, guys.
And if there's any question, refer back to these rules. I mean,
Yeah, these are really the highlights. These are the most important parts of the terms of service, in my opinion. Like, it's all supposed to be important, but these are like really important things, which is why Upwork wants you to say that you understand them. And they use the Upwork Readiness Test to confirm that understanding. All right. Yep. So guys, I think that concludes today's video. So I wish you all happy Upworking. Until next time, make sure to follow me on all the social media channels. Make sure to like and subscribe here on the YouTube page if you're watching on YouTube. It's Morgan O Media on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook and all that good stuff. And we will see you next time. Bye.
Customer service support. Why is reading so hard? It's the little voices inside our head. Like, I know. They're not working very well.